The day he left felt like the floor collapsed beneath me. You know, those scenes in movies where someone is falling endlessly through a dark void, not sure where delusion and denial end and reality begins. That was me. But, unlike the movies, there was no dramatic music swelling, no one rushing in to catch me, no one in to save me, or just to tell me that it was all a dream. Instead, it was quiet. Definitely quiet. Just me and the sound of a panic heart beating so fast I thought it was going to come out of my chest. I remember waking up that morning before it all went down. If you could even call it waking up. I, again, hadn't slept, just like every night that I had self-sabotaged. Another night of fighting because I knew that my truth had killed us. I had waited simply too long to say anything. And because of that, I just existed through the night, if you could even call it that. I checked my phone literally every 3 minutes. I was checking it to see if he messaged, if he called, if he checked socials, if he'd done something. Or, if I was lucky enough, I would fall asleep for a few minutes, just to be woken up by an emotional gut punch of an abandonment feeling with that side of anxiety and pure fear. Do you know what I'm talking about? I don't know how else I can explain that. And if there's anybody out there that is listening who knows what I'm trying to explain or what I'm talking about, I would love to have that conversation with you. Just message me and let me know. And at the end of the podcast, I will actually let you know where we can kind of all meet as a group. I continued to stare at my phone like it was oxygen in the morning. I kept checking and refreshing. Praying I'd see his name light up my screen, a text, a missed call. Although I don't know how I could miss a call when I literally was staring at the screen. But I was even trying to settle for like a bubble, saying, hey, last night wasn't good. You know, it was pretty bad. Let's have a conversation and rally because that's what we do. I would have settled for anything positive. But nothing came. Nothing came until it did. And when it did, it wasn't love. It wasn't hope. It was a goodbye. That was the moment when everything changed. I still remember the color of the room and how dim the light was. How even the sun seemed to be mourning with me, and I hadn't even known it yet. We read the messages for days before, so many times that I knew every punctuation mark, every typo. My body was numb, and my fingers were trembling and begging for a phone call to try and fix it. And he finally messaged me and said that we could have a conversation, but it was a goodbye conversation. To me, this was music to my ears. This wasn't the first or the 10th time that this has been said. This was one of our many toxic traits that we had in our relationship. And I said, okay, letting out a huge, huge sigh of relief. Truly believing that we were right back on track. We started the conversation as it always started, and he would talk about how he couldn't do this anymore, how it's not healthy, how toxic we were for each other right now because of all of the hurt. And he also talked about the damage we have caused and that he just couldn't do the roller coaster highs and the lows anymore. I agreed, as I always do, as it was very true. Every single word that came out of his mouth was true. But then I would start to beg, and I did. I begged, how do we fix this? How do we get back on track? Let's get today going. Let's forget about last night. Let's table it. Let's table those feelings and those emotions. I begged and begged to the point that I left him no choice but to say goodbye and hang up on me. again. This was also normal. Give him some space to process, text him in a little bit so that we can talk, and it was a rinse and repeat cycle. That was our pattern. Was it toxic? Clearly it was, but it was ours. And it was sadly a comforting pattern that I knew the ending to. The one with the light at the end of the tunnel until the next time I needed my ego stroked or my insecurities met with self-sabotage. So I gave him some time to cool, and I went on my day for a few hours. After those few hours, I happily and confidently sent him a text message that said, well, do I need to come to Kansas City and shake some sense into you? That was something that we would always say to each other. Or are we good? LOL. I love you. I watched the message sent so slow, and I didn't understand what was going on until I saw the bubble. The bubble turned green. For those people that have an iPhone, you know what that means. Blocked. He had never done this before. The panic set in so hard and so fast, I didn't even realize I had stopped breathing. I was having a full-blown panic attack and didn't even know it. I clutched my chest. I fell to the floor. I cried without sound. My entire nervous system was shutting down. And still, my brain screamed, this isn't happening. Make it stop. Make it stop. It's a dream. Wake up. I mean, we were soulmates. A soul connection that neither one of us had believed in until we found each other. We told each other that almost every day when things were good, for years. She was supposed to be my person, my forever. We had built a life together, even if it existed in a long-distance world that felt more real than anything I had ever lived through. We had plans, so many plans, like forever plans. They were solid. They were dreams and visions. I 100% could see them and visualize them so easy on a daily basis. We fell asleep together every night. We woke up together every morning. I think in a total, we missed 4 days in over 2 years. Binge-watched TV shows, movies, made love song playlists to fall asleep to together. We played games. We built an online gaming community together. We laughed until our cheeks hurt. We drank and sang. We cried. We had each other's passwords, each other's secrets, each other's hearts, and each other's backs. No matter what. And in a blink of an eye, it was all gone. I walked through the house like a ghost. I couldn't tell anyone what was going on. I mean, if I said anything, it was real. It was actually happening, and I refused to believe it. I went to work, but I wasn't there. I mean, my body was, but my soul was somewhere else. Maybe in Kansas City. Maybe curled up in the corner of a phone call where he said he still loved me, but couldn't do this anymore. I don't really know. I didn't eat. I didn't sleep. I didn't speak. I wasn't living. I was surviving, but barely. You know what the worst part is? I thought he would come back. I still, to this day, somewhere in the pit of my heart and mind and soul think, believe, and hope that he will. Even after everything. That's because I truly believe that love like ours doesn't just vanish. You can't just find what we had in a dating app, or on a street, or in a bar, or hell, even in a church. At least that's what I believe, to my core. That's what every fiber in my body tells me. And you can be the judge of that as we go through this podcast, and as I lay out all the ins and outs of our deep connection, our soulmate connection. I've been through so many relationships, good and bad, and nothing compared to this. It didn't even come close. Nothing came close. And him, you ask? He's only had one other relationship besides me. And in my mind, I believe he will realize it won't be as easy to find another that fits so well. And so I wait. And I've waited. I waited for the text. I waited for the call. The ping. The sound of hope arriving. Anything. But days passed. Then weeks. Then months. I became a shell of a person I used to be. I didn't recognize myself in the mirror. I didn't even recognize the sound of my own voice. I couldn't remember what it felt like to laugh. I did crazy X things that we will get into in other episodes of this podcast. And I started to feel ashamed. Because it wasn't just heartbreak. It was the guilt. It was the regrets. It was the weight of all the mistakes that I had made, all the things that I said, all the things that I did, and the things that I should have and needed to say at the beginning that I didn't till the end. And the truth? We'll get to that later in this podcast. In later episodes of this podcast is what I should say. Because this story isn't just about love and loss. It's about truth. It's about pain. It's about redemption. And it's about healing. God, I hope it's about healing. So, you're probably sitting here asking yourself, why am I here? Why this podcast? To be honest, I don't know. Maybe finally after a year of us being broken up, I am looking for a proper support system. Maybe I do want to heal. Maybe I do want to move on, even though that's really hard to admit. And maybe there are others out here that have felt this way too. Maybe you've watched someone walk away with your whole heart in your hands, your whole world in their hands, and the reason why you live in their hands. Maybe you've wondered how someone could say and show you that they wholeheartedly love you, that you are their soulmate with their soul connection, and within a matter of weeks it changed. Maybe you believe when someone said to you, I will love you no matter what, for better or for worse. But it didn't happen. Maybe you felt like your life was over. Maybe you've wondered if you'd ever feel whole again. And maybe, just maybe, this space is where we all can figure that out together. Because for me, that day the text turned green was the end of everything. But it's taken a year, and I can say, I guess it's also been the beginning of something else. Not healing, not yet. But honesty. Raw, messy, ugly, heartbreaking honesty to be my authentic self. And that's where this podcast begins. This is life after losing you. And this was the day my world changed. Welcome to the beginning, and I honestly hope that you stay. There will be twists and turns that no one will see coming. This is literally a blockbuster movie ready, but it's in real time. It's with real people, with real feelings, and not a Hallmark ending. This is based on a chapter of my life. All fact, no fiction. And I will be dropping the next episode on Thursday. If you're looking to join the community, I suggest you look up Life After Losing You on Instagram, on TikTok, and I've even started a private group on Facebook. So until next time, everybody, be gentle with yourself. You're doing better than you think.